These are the lowland gorillas of Zaire, across the border from Rwanda. Unlike the mountain gorilla, this subspecies is not so severely endangered. Their numbers are far greater and the threats against them fewer. The lowland gorillas live 10,000 feet below their mountain cousins, dwelling in equatorial jungles of bamboo and hagenia. We visited Zaire, formerly the Belgian Congo, and a stronghold for the lowland gorilla. The Belgians colonized the Kivu district in eastern Zaire, but it was originally inhabited by pygmies. Today, their Bantu descendants live as fishermen, cattle farmers, and agriculturalists. We often stopped and bargained for fruit at the roadside markets. Except for industry and diesel fumes, things are not much changed from the early part of this century, when full-blooded pygmies lived here as hunters and slash-and-burn agriculturalists. Near the lake, the lowland gorilla has been given a refuge in the Kahuzi Biega National Park. There are 3 families of gorillas here that have been habituated to human presence. John Kahekwa, a 24-year-old guide, took me out to find one.
They're around 5 on the tree. Yeah.
5 on the tree?
Yeah.
Though the altitude here wasn't as hard on my lungs as it was in Rwanda, there were swamps and stinging nettles to contend with. The search for the gorillas was never easy.
Maheshe.
John beat his chest to let the gorillas know that we were coming.
Look him.
My God. Fantastic.
Yeah, there's a silverback.
Yeah.
And one juvenile, and the mom behind the silverback.
Ah, I've never seen anything quite like that. He's right out in the open.
Another baby hanging in the tree.
Yeah.
Look, the 2 females here. 2 females.
Have you seen them like this in the open very often?
Yes, most of the time when they're crossing the marsh, I see them.
Here you get an idea how big that guy is. Look at that. He's got his whole family right with him. You know, we've seen them so often in the thick bush. To see them out in the open like this, just amazing. Look how secure those babies feel around Maheshe. Well, let's try to move closer.
Yeah, okay.
I've been making trips into the wild for 25 years, and I've never seen anything to compare with this. The big silverback is both king and guardian of his family. He can live for 60 years overseeing the future of his species.
Guard. Maheshe. 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 They leave the marsh now and they go in the bamboo forest again.
must weigh at least 500 or 600 pounds.
Yes.
You know, the mountain gorilla would have much longer hair.
Much longer.
Yeah. Here he goes.
Very big one. Ooh. He's angry. He's catching.
There's an opening down there. Let's see if he can get in that opening.
Yep. We'll try again, Jim.
Yeah, okay.
Maheshe's family group is spread out over a 500-yard area. As soon as he begins to move, the trees come alive with a subtle commotion, the language of gorillas, suddenly aware. The whole troop knows where we are, and now we sense that we're being watched.
How many babies does he have in his family?
He has nine juveniles.
9 juveniles.
Yes.
How often can a female give birth?
Once and two last year.
Maheshe settles down to eat again. There is an appealing majesty to his girth. Mature silverbacks need to consume at least 50 pounds of vegetation a day to get enough nutrition from their diet. Maheshe strips away the husk to get at the watery meat of the bamboo. His powerful jaws, which hinge high up in his skull, allow him to chew for hour after hour without getting tired. The stories about gorillas eating meat of any kind are strictly apocryphal, another consequence of our early superstitions. Gorillas are herbivores, gentle in temperament and habit. As Maheshe settles in for his midday nap, he's careful to keep us in sight, ready to protect his family group at a moment's notice. We stayed to watch him sleep for a while. His resemblance to us was still endlessly fascinating, as ours was to him. Dr. Wolfgang von Richter is a wildlife biologist working with the Zairians to develop day trips for tourists to see the gorillas. Together, we went to Kahuzi Biega Park headquarters. There to greet us was Makutu Osenzu, the park conservator. Both men are hopeful that an increase in tourism will bring in money to equip anti-poaching patrols.
Okay, well, we are now here, and that's where we find most of our 3 habitual gorilla groups.
Jeff the chimp is a local orphan. He's never been partial to meeting. On our excursions to see the gorillas, we didn't stay very long, maybe 2 or 3 hours a visit, if we were lucky enough to keep up with the family as it ate its way through the jungle. This time we went not into the bamboo, but into the nettle forest nearby. It's thorny and hot. I lost a couple of pounds just from sweating, which wasn't all bad either.
Eating bamboo.
Wolfgang spotted a juvenile gorilla behind a clump of nettles.
Now we have to approach the silverback very slowly. Do not disturb the silverback, man. Yeah, okay, well, the silverback is just past the bush, so we have now to go slowly. I think for the moment.
The juveniles began to come out into the clearings. Their curiosity made them bold. There's an old saying here that God will never desert the Kivu people, because even if he wanted to, he'd always have to come back to spend the nights. so beautiful is the area. And I felt that here was their Garden of Eden.
They are not afraid of human beings, but
How many years? Oh, here's the silverback. Look at this. God, look at the size of his head.
that's right.
Fantastic.
No, that's the leaves.
Look at that sucker.
The garnishes, so we can.
I can see the difference now between the lowland gorilla and the
Yeah.
mountain gorilla. You can see the head is much cleaner, and the
Yes, no.
ridge, the sagittal ridge, seems to be more pronounced.
That it was. No, that's a market type.
We suddenly found ourselves in a potentially explosive situation. The silverback had not been expecting us, and immediately he sought to establish his dominance. We would have to be very careful in the next few minutes to avoid giving him the impression that we meant any harm.
I know, I'm getting pretty close to it then.
But apparently we have approached too rapidly.
Then, quite deliberately, he stretched out in front of us, muscles flexed and ready. In putting his power on display, he was saying, "What you see here, the forest around me, the muscles of my body, the severity of my eyes, this is all part of my world, and you are not going to go any farther."
Stay quiet, Don.
You guys be quiet. This is a critical situation. Don't move. Right there, Jim. That's good.
Yes. So, once in a while you get a fright, so that's no
realize
no
that's-
playing around.
Yeah, that's pretty rare to see him come up with that pose. That was a threat, right? When he's sideways and his hair is standing up. That's pretty close.
Of course, in hindsight, it's easy to say that the silverback was bluffing, and in all likelihood he was. But it's not a good idea to play with odds in the wild.